Welcome on back, everyone, to the Verizon Game Changers Series 2 North American 2023 Grand Finals, where we just wrapped up map number 2. And so far, it is looking like a very, very dominant and one-sided Grand Finals thus far from the side of V1, as unfortunately on that second map on Haven, Mimi, it was just version 1 showing once again why they are the 7-time Game Changers champs.
Somebody stop them. Somebody please stop them. This team is just so good right now. On that first half in particular, it seemed like Mel was calling a perfect game. The mid-rounding was on spot, that V1 was always getting into these sites and getting into post-plant positions. They were so apt to close out with this Harbor Viper composition. Fluorescent was in rare form, and Complexity, just could not find a solution. Again, they tried to vary things up. They tried to make adaptations, but V1 was always a step ahead. It really was the same story as the first map, Wyatt.
Yeah, that was rough.
Floor drop 353 ACS.
Yeah, that'll definitely do it. I'm ready to once again be the beacon of hope for the next map, guys.
I know, I can feel it.
I'm not gonna get. For now, though, I'm just gonna do the thing that we've been doing when we're talking to each other while watching the maps, which is just say things like, "Mel is really good," and then 5 seconds later, Sarah. She's pretty good too. Like, she's also really good.
I think some of these players might be the best player in their role in the Game Changer scene. I've been thinking that recently.
Yeah, I've been pondering, and I've come to a similar conclusion, Mimi, fascinatingly enough. And it's just when you put Floor on Jet, Sean said it, but the Jet S tier, the Raze S tier, the Neon S tier, it's just outrageous what Floor is doing on the regular. Like, the level of the panache that we see from the mechanical gameplay, it's just ridiculous. There's no player, I swear to God, there's not one player I have watched in Valorant more consistently go for and execute perfectly the spray transfers. No one else can do it like Floor. It's insane how easy she makes it look. And then if anyone else goes for it, embarrassment. They just can't do it. It's crazy.
Indeed, Mimi, I feel like one of the hardest roles we end up in is deciding when we want to do a Floor highlight reel, because it feels like, especially in these multiple Game Changer seasons, every map Floor plays on just turns into a nice little highlight reel.
She is so ridiculously and consistently good. The top-rated player of Game Changers 1, the top-rated player thus far of Game Changers Series 2, and looking to do that again. And even going back to last year when she was playing on Misfits, when she was not on a team anywhere near the caliber of version 1 right now, she was still consistently one of the best, if not the best, statistical player of pretty much every event she plays. I think there is really no argument to be made against her being the single most mechanically gifted player that we have in the North American Game Changers scene.
Wyatt, it wasn't just Floor just absolutely wiping the floor with her opponents, but also we talked about in-game leader Mel on that first map on Bind. This time around, it was just another masterclass as we take a look at round 8.
Yeah, Haven has often been the IGL's playground, and calling in the mid-round here, you can see from Jazzy's point of view, the pressure that her Harbor is putting on B and how it's going to draw all of these rotates here. Jazzy forced out, and then they pivot into this C split where they actually just absolutely pinch onto Raze, where that Viper ult was shutting down long, and then into the post plant, they set it up perfectly. They win that out from a 4v5. Mel's calling was immaculate. And also, I would like to take this moment to give credit to someone we never give credit to when we're talking about V1 because the players are so good. But their coach, Effie's, as well, has had a huge impact on this team. And that the brain trust of Effie's, who's a great player in his own right too, and Mel has just clearly been putting them on an entirely different level when it comes to that macro play and the decision making. They've just got it all.
Yeah, and that's so important too, because Cloud9, despite the fact that they were clearly the best team of Game Changers last year, at least here in North America, they never had a consistent coach. It was back and forth of who would be working with him. For a lot of the time, it really was the Mel show, with her being the one calling, building the strats for the team. But here there is finally a partnership between the coach and the IGL, and also Alexis, who adds a lot of input to the team, that has continued to push this version 1 forward and to become a even better squad than Cloud9 ever was, even though they were also the best in their era.
It's pretty scary because if maps 1 and 2 are anything to go off of, it's not just the crazy frags that we've already seen from the likes of Floor. It's not just the mid-round calls that we're seeing from the likes of Mel. It's also just the history of how these maps have played out. We're going on to Pearl next, Wyatt. And the last time that these two played against each other, their score was 13-5 in favor of version 1, but it was only because Complexity won both pistols.
Sue, allow me to once again be the beacon of hope.
I'm ready for it.
I've been waiting for this moment, and I'm going to sell you a pipe dream, which is the last time. I didn't even say it yet, Mimi. Could you relax?
Okay.
Can you get out of your
Here's
get
the
out of your
floor.
hater?
You have the floor, Wyatt. I'm not a hater. I'm listening,
Mimi.
honestly.
All right, on Pearl. The last time, yes, these teams played on Pearl. Yes, Complexity won the 2 pistols and still lost 13-5, but that was the old Complexity of 3 days ago. Since then, we have genuinely seen them improve on Pearl, specifically on their attack side with this Neon Phoenix comp that I really like. They've been getting better and better with getting and gaining map control using the Phoenix and Neon walls in ways that they weren't before. They've been doing a much more effective job of taking advantage of mid and how they could push through Art and the hallway on that left side to go for splits on attack. This comp is excellent on defense for fighting for early map control. Listen, I know that Haven was supposed to be a good map for them and they only got 4 rounds, but this map is going to be closer, guys. I swear it's going to be complete. Mimi, it's time for you to hate. Give me the counterpoint.
First of all, I agree with you. Great take. I think it will be closer than 13-4. Maybe 13-5, maybe 13-7, something along those lines. My counterpoint to your argument, glancing over, version 1, Pearl record, 7 games won, 0 games lost. That's not just Game Changers. That's in co-ed as well. Playing third-party tournaments and pounding on this map. This has been such a stronghold for V1 for so long. They play incredibly well on this map. They've changed from Harbor Viper over to the guard comp. Look just as good at playing that one as well. Complexity, they're good here. Don't get me wrong. Their defense side really improved yesterday versus DSG. I was a big fan of the way they were playing the map, but right now V1 honestly look unstoppable, and it's going to take something massive here for Complexity to pull off a map win.
Yeah, it's not just the 7 straight maps V1 won. When I scrolled, I kept scrolling. It was actually 12 straight maps, even outside of the Game Changers season,
12
series. Yeah, so it was 12
in a row.
Yeah,
V1's
which is
pretty good.
Sue,
that's
pretty good.
Don't help Mimi's narrative.
I'm not helping. I'm simply stating neutral facts. But as we take a look at these comps, I mean, you pointed to the Neon Phoenix. What needs to play out differently this time around than we saw 4 days ago, Wyatt?
Okay, they have genuinely, I said it, but they have made improvements on this map that they've been playing a lot within those 4 days. Their attack side is significantly better than it was in that game against V1, even their second game when they were playing against EG. All right, so I think that they're going to be able to have a better game just off the back of that. And if they can successfully take early map control on defense and find early picks, which is what this comp excels at. We've been watching Raze in tandem with Jazzy, playing off of Jazzy's stuns, Raze with really well-timed curveball flashes to find opening picks. That is going to be the key. This comp excels at aggression. It excels at the aggression on defense. And I need to see that, and I need to see them winning the duels in those situations, which is obviously not easy against Floor and just a litany of talented riflers on V1. But I'm trying my best here. I genuinely think, surely, if there's a map that's the best for them, it's this one. I've loved their Pearl play up until this point.
Complexity before this event had only ever made it to top 5, top 6 in a Game Changers before 2 years. They worked to get deeper, it never happened. But now 6 months since adding Jazzy, they've made it to the finals. They're playing against V1. No one expects them to win. I imagine in the back of their heads, they probably don't expect it either. But if there was a map to pull off an upset, it could be here. V1 though, they've been incredible. Yet to drop a map in GC as a team, and if they win this one here, they will have won 7 for Mel and Alexis. They'll get those points to just be a step away from making it to GC champions again. In EMEA, G2 goes in just won back-to-back there. V1 wants to continue that same legacy and get a shot international.
Honestly, I couldn't have said it better myself. Mimi, let's head into map number 3 as Doug and Sean are waiting. Is it going to be a 3-0 from the side of V1 for an 8th Game Changers title or Complexity? Can they bring it back? Take it away, boys.
Sue, I love a good story just as much as the rest of us, but I'm gonna keep it honest with you. Probably not. It probably is gonna be a 3-0 sweep. And here's the reality: is I thought Wyatt was a respectable human that I could trust, but he's a snake oil salesman, and it's full memento, like don't believe his lies type vibe. Sean,
I couldn't agree more. Like I used to trust Wyatt before that desk, and now I just feel like I can't trust the word he says. He's trying to convince me that this is possible. They won 5 rounds last time, and they won both pistols in both second rounds. V1's unbeatable, Doug. I'm convinced.
It certainly seems that way. Mimi, thank you for being the one to bring us back to ground level. Complexity starting on the attacking side. And I do think, while I had to navigate through all of the copium and nonsense that Wyatt was spitting, he is right about the fact that Jazzykins and Rays, they have to execute. They have to find value off of this Phoenix Flash. They've got to be able to get orbs into his hands and see, into the Phoenix hands and see what they can do.
Yeah, and I like the approach off the bat here. You know, they're very aware. Alexis likes to use the 0 point here at A main. So actually, instead of going heavy through main, I think this is going to be an art hit.
You're right. It's only going to detect 1. It was Lace that got caught, who's been... we've talked about it a few times, Sean, but Lace has been an absolute phenom this tournament. She's going to have to do it more if they want a shot at this. And I mean, Jazzykins somehow got through, found the window, but Alexis stays alive long enough to drop 2 of her own.
The 2 trades come in. They're unsure if someone's A main, so it's stalling out this plant so long. The nebulas are going to fall.
And by the time they finally reapproach the site, version 1 have already arrived.
Yeah, and they're unaware now if there's someone in art. There's so many unknowns right now for Complexity. They're going to have to take a risk. They're both playing up in the site. Flash comes in for art. That gives them a little bit of space. That's what they needed.
Alexis just got her knife back too, and that's going to tag on to Lace. So they know there's someone playing off site. Flash is not available either. Alexis with 20 HP, the swing out, and it's a little bit too much, but somehow Alexis gets a 3rd. She gets all 3, but Lace with the counter is gorgeous. Complexity, get the pistol.
All right. Complexity. Finally, I feel like this might be their first lead of the entire series.
Oh, dog, don't do that. Come on.
But the double duelists need to put some rounds on this attacking half, because this will be their stronger half. I've seen throughout this tournament, Complexity, like Wyatt said, they have leveled up on Pearl, and their A exec is insane. You can see V1 has fought for A main against the Phoenix before. We saw it against DSG. We're going to see it again in this game.
You see the preparation, again, to allude back to this DSG game, the DHG game. There was so much of a focus around getting the ult orb into the hands of the Phoenix, and version 1 denying that from the beginning with A main.
You can see Noya's on an island over here. Can she do anything? Because, I mean, all of her teammates are flanking through A. They are giga out of this play.
Yeah, she doesn't even seem really keen. I mean, she's got 2 nanos and the alarm bot. Didn't drop either, just has a classic. You imagine here, it's just let's see what we can get with the pistols and carry money, save it into the next round. Save the utility invested. Make it money well spent. Claudia is so done. When you swing out into people like that, it's so difficult to deal with. No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. All is well. Still 2 pistol stand for version 1. But the Bulldogs are just too much.
And if I'm Complexity, I want Race to get both of these frags right now.
Yeah, get as many as you can, or Jazzykins will take them and now get 1 point away from the ult. Yeah,
that's good also. 1 off of the Neon ult right now going into the bonus. Complexity with a really strong eco right there. Anti-eco, and that'll take them into the bonus. And again, I think they've shown me throughout this event, like Wyatt said, their A exec, B exec on Pearl is incredibly solid. You'll see the hot hands come over for Dugout. You'll see a stun lineup as well that pinches Dugout. But you can see V1 does not want to allow this to happen. They are going to play up on main right now.
They just play this spot so aggressive. The close knife, the dart back over the top, the flash, and well handled by Jazzykins. That's huge.
And normally they would have, the curveball coming in from Raze right there to take main, but the knife immediately thrown by Alexis that round prevents it. And now Noya, we've seen her lock down this site so many times on Pearl. And again, they have so much faith in Noya to hold the site, but can she stop it against Seekers?
Remember, this time she does have a Phantom. She's got far more weaponry to deal with. In the face of the Seeker, she drops it first. You see the flash coming around the corner. It's way too much to handle. But the rest of version 1 are going to do just fine.
Just fine? Everyone's dead. In the blink of an eye. It looks so good from our point of view. Oh my god, the flood was perfect. It was perfect by the time they got to Noya with those Seekers. Sarah was out. Fluorescent was there as well. The site was just, it was over at that point.
Placing alarm bot.
Now we have another buy coming in for Complexity. Again, I think they're going to make an adjustment here. They're going to go more heavy through art than they have in previous games to stop this.
Look at the adaptation, bro! I mean, you're right. They're thinking the same thing. We've got to go through art. We can't fight A main. Floor's a step ahead of the play.
She is always ahead of the play, it seems like. They adapt so quick. And now the double aggression coming into main right now. Mel is super close to main. Alexis right here to support.
Blaze staying alive. They grab the orb too and get away. I believe that went into what, Claudia's hands? It's now just a couple points away. What, 1 point away from having the lockdown online? 2?
2 away.
Blocking vision.
One suppressed.
It's just so difficult. You know, we've talked so much about the double duelist entries for Complexity and how they were able to create space, break crosshair placement, and wreak havoc. Neither of those tools are available here in this round.
And the alarm bot's still up on Link. Noya's still jump spotting B. So much info on the left side of the map right now.
Yeah.
They're perfectly fine keeping 4 defenders here at A in a 3-on-5.
Lace with a narrow miss there. Almost connects onto the jump spotter, and they're going to get the site anyway.
Wow. All 3 frags coming in for Complexity. Only 4 remains.
And she's got to stay alive. It seems like they might want to try to hunt her down. Noya's just now arriving to the site, and she's healthy.
Spike planted.
Still has full armor, still has full health. You see the reposition coming through as Floor's going to join her. Complexity have done well to clear out art here, make sure there's no one lagging around, but Noya finds just the right time to strike.
Oh no.
Spotting the second. No nanos here to clear Claudia out of that corner. So just daring her to swing again.
Oh no. This is exactly what we saw the first time these teams met, Doug. It's the same thing over again. You know, the site takes from Complexity were good that first time, but the retakes from V1, they were always a step ahead, and the lack of an art plant right there just made so much pressure for the players to peek out before the tap even happened.
One enemy remaining. Recalling my bot.
Still a shot at this here. Yeah, Complexity have ult. They have Jazzykins ult, as we talked about a couple of rounds ago.
Looks like these duelists want to run it down over here at Link, and there's not going to be anyone there defending it. So this is an opening for them, at very least. They're pivoting across the art now, though.
Take this. Here we go.
There's the ult.
Shocking.
I think the duelists are going to meet in the middle of the map here.
No, Alexis has her ult here. And it may not matter. I mean, Jazzykins isn't even given the fight. Not even offered a shred of an opportunity to make a play with it.
The question here is what is Complexity willing to invest here on this
Yeah. Yeah, do they dare invest the lockdown? Do they dare invest the Cosmic Divide?
V1's not even getting them a chance. Immediately, the null command used by Lexus. And just like we previously seen, they're just sitting around. They're waiting for the mistake to happen.
You should run.
Yeah.
The Cosmic Divide comes in.
A 1-for-1 backside. Noya funnels through. Floor is right behind him. You see the Cosmic Divide. She's playing just on the other side of it, spamming through, making sure there's no utility on it when they do decide to go. The site should be theirs, and now Noya has her own. And the Cosmic Divide to boot. They're going to jump right into it. And Noya cleans it up. Claudia's left alone, and it's another round for version 1.
And an utter disaster, Doug. They used both of the ults. I respect the idea to use the lockdown a little bit deeper. They were out of range of the null command. That's why the lockdown looked a little scuffed on the attacker's side. And they used the Cosmic Divide to give a tiny gap to maybe, you know, take out the diffuse on the other side of the V1 Cosmic Divide. But man, did they just invest so much. And now all they have is this run it back. They're grouping towards the B site. And again, Flora's going to look for some aggression in mid right at the start of this round. There's going to be a turret here waiting for her, so probably not going to get the fight she's looking for.
Thankfully, for Complexity, Claudia is not aggressively holding over that angle. Yeah, Complexity are fully trampling down B. You've got the run it back, which honestly feels late to just now be seeing one, but perhaps Raze can find the value to tie us up at 3 apiece. 1 kill has already been found. You see the ult being cleared out, Floor peeking ahead of the smoke with the op. And finding value, a second one to it, as version 1 do not relent. They do not give up an inch.
Jeez, Floor just obliterated that hit, and Noya held on to the backhauls. Despite losing the rotator right there, she's able to just dig her heels down in the backhauls, and I thought they absolutely needed to push the halls and take her out. Otherwise, you know, you can see they're all just swiveling around. They don't know where to look. And, the op from Floor just reigns true.
And this feels a lot like the conversation we had when we were casting DSGs. They thrive in the chaos. They manage to keep it calm enough and execute well through it.
Oh god, if this dart hits anything, if it scans, I feel like the ult comes out from Sarah.
She's patient with him for now. Does not use it.
She's gonna have the opportunity. They have to push through A right now. They have to find these frags.
And they might, and if they do, that's the spike, but Kara holds him back. So they reestablish and they stabilize A main control.
Massive frags right there from Kara. Raze pushing the back of the site now. A little bit boltier in the 3-on-5.
Wait for Alexis on this pop flash. She's waiting on the other side of smoke. There it is, the swing out. Nothing is found. Well handled by Complexity.
Look how much space this lockdown gives, Doug. No one can challenge from main. They're gonna work up right now. No one can challenge from art.
Yeah, but you have 2 stars on here. Kara can gravity well off. There's so many options that Complexity still have to them, even in the face of that lockdown. Not to mention it was a 2v4 to begin with. So for Complexity, it was a little dicey there, but insanely well navigated. Given the 2K from Kara, given the fact that they had numbers in that 2v4 at the end, that secured the round.
Yeah, and that's a big one. If you look at the money on V1, they're gonna hit the bottom of the barrel here. Sarah has a Guardian. I'm very curious what their approach is right now. Laura has the Blade Storm on deck. Sarah's going over here towards Long B. She has this ult, and we've seen her pop the ult from Link on an A main take. I am very curious if she rotates up Link and does that again here. It's fake pressure, and V1 recognizes it as that.
Yeah, just not enough seen on the other side off of Lexus's knife to continue their pursuits and to continue their efforts.
Doug, look at the pings on the minimap right now. Mel is very concerned about an art pinch coming in because of all of the art plays Complexity has done throughout this half.
Yeah.
But that's not what this is. The fear of past rounds now setting in for V1. It's the first time that I feel like they've had an incorrect read.
Careful now.
Gotta be cautious here because they are gonna execute onto the site. Sarah has Honor Fury, and that's from really far away.
And here's that dugout take I was referring to earlier. Oh.
That's a kill on delays, and Floor with the blades continues to cause problems.
Flashbang.
They've somehow calmed things down and slowed things down for just a moment. But a false sense of security perhaps starting to set in because you see it on the minimap. Version 1 have fully surrounded the site. 4 members here. And even if you contact your way to get to one, look at this high-low between Mel and Alexis. Too much to deal with. A 1-for-1. Alexis cleans up both. That's a 2-round lead for B1.
This is perfect play. Floor up, trapping over the hot hands and dugout. hardly even does any damage to her. The ult coming in from Link, as I was describing from Sarah, just excellent support. And you can see there's a ping actually on the mini-map, probably like, oh man, we really needed a lurk right there. It could have taken her out. You know, that's actually something that they previously did in a past game. So now Complexity, they're feeling the heat of the economy right now. And quite frankly, the half could just spiral out of control if they were to lose this round.
Well, I mean, you were the one who mentioned just how pivotal of a round that was really for both squads, because version 1 were at a breaking point, or I mean, close to one. But for Complexity to be the ones who now have to navigate through that is just going to be so much more difficult. And you see why version 1 are so highly respected on this map. Was it 12-0, right, on this map? Something outrageous like that. They just don't lose on Pearl, man, and you see why.
It's across all of the maps, it feels like. And
yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And I mean, Complexity has some ults to work with, but they need these ults to come up successful. They need to find value here. It can't be like that prior eco that we saw where they just wasted 4 of them. You know, this is a very big swing round for them. And it could literally cause this half to end 9-3 if they were to lose this round. The Cosmic Divide and the Seekers are great tools for the attackers, especially at the B site, and that's exactly where we're going to see them used. But a triple setup from V1, Doug. Both initiators are here. A knife potentially to literally break everything.
It almost feels like they're expecting something so drastically different on the other side of the timeout, and that's exactly what Complexity are doing. I mean, they're gonna all be spotted here, and Floor just stays up there. She just disrespects it all, and there's no way I thought Jazzykins wasn't gonna see her, but well handled. They've gotten out onto the site. They still have some control, but Sarah and Alexis have not moved. They lost back sight. Raze is causing serious problems out here, but it's just not enough. It's just not enough.
Look at it. It was a 5v5 on the B site, Doug. I mean, think about how quick that rotate had to come in. V1 is so well prepped on this map. They know that there's not going to be any misdirection with these double duelists. And the second that Sova dart scanned one of the duelists, they were already rotating to A. And at that point, it was going to be a very sketchy hit. It's not like they have the null command. They don't have anything to force people into fighting them like in fair fights. And
right.
Sarah did such a good job getting that frag and nesting into Jen.
You see the buy for Complexity. It's not great. Lace is being very, very loud with what she was trying to do there. And you see the setup, the gravity well, and then the swing from 2 members towards A main. No area is safe. Oh, Sarah's in trouble.
Ooh, yeah.
2 on either side, but remember the gun difference. Remember the gun difference. Raze keeps him back, though.
Noya. I mean, she owns these back hauls.
It's just so simple.
Enemy remaining.
Oh. The flash from Alexis once again. Whoa, that was a clean shutout from Kara, but again, just a little bit short. It was, I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was Mimi who was talking on the desk about just how criminally underrated Alexis can be and the value that she finds with her utility. It's these little things that don't always show up that you really see the value that she offers the squad.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I tried to point it out every start of these rounds, but you see V1 plays off of this early 0 point nearly every round, right? We're about to see an early 0 point thrown by Alexis that we've yet to see. She's probably going to double challenge mid here with Floor, either that or flash off of the wall for her to peek. It's just a bait setup, actually. So you see the pace of Complexity. They're waiting for a 0 point to happen, but it's the one round where Alexis hasn't thrown it.
And the nice thing is, too, with how Mel is playing, a little bit of info, and because of where Alexis is, you can still hit that knife on the wall right behind her and destroy an early pop out from A-Main.
Joke's over. You're dead.
But she decides to hold it for a little bit longer, and that should be the cue. They know the hit is coming that way, but concerned about what could be flanking across the middle of the map while they leave the rest of version 1 to fight for A-Main, to fight for the site.
The counter setup. Mel holding the smoke floor on top, holding the site from a bird eye point of view. Alexis in the bait setup over at Art.
Initiated.
And the Cosmic Divide barely beats the lockdown. Oh no.
Kara's dead. Noise playing on the other side of the wall, yeah. And she had no idea. Kyra never saw her. They're gonna have to push floor here.
Yeah, this is a good situation here for COL. They're now in a 1-on-3.
Noise gonna have to do this on her own. And time is so short. Yeah, there's really no opportunity. I thought for a moment with Floor where she was positioned, the fact that she was detained, maybe they don't check her because she's up on that high box and she goes undetected, but well reacted, well handled, and Complexity are sticking around in this, man.
Yeah, they are. They are, and this is a super pivotal last round here. The Complexity running this double duelist will have troubles next half, right? They won't be blessed with the same thing as V1 with the double initiator, being able to find that info, rotate quick. It's going to be a lot of gambling going on next half. And sure, Complexity can guess right. They can flood sites and retake, but it's going to be very difficult against a team like V1.
I am with you.
Looks like V1 again wants to go for the same bait setup over here in Art.
Yeah. A little bit different. It seems like Floor's playing a little bit further back, but no, you're right. Dark getting some info, and I didn't catch who exactly was tagged, but it's enough for them to try to spam through, and Car's already down.
The rotate is now coming in. Alexis is running over towards this middle of the map right now. She's already moving towards Link. But Sarah can hear the rotate from bottom Link, so it's actually causing her to shift back.
Version 1 have approached this round so disciplined. You see them feeling some of the pressure towards B. They don't take A main. They don't do anything like that. They just hold. They freeze. And like you were talking about a couple of rounds ago, wait for Complexity to be the ones to make a move and to force a mistake.
Yeah, the drone gives false info, and you can see V1 shifting right side of the map. 3 players in A. Sarah rotating spawn. And they have, even though they're lacking an Asher, they have a Phoenix Blaze Wall, they have the Neon Wall as well. A lot of vision denial between these two duelists.
Oh, wait, the spike is backside. The spike is backside, and Noya, if she kills her, it could be a problem. Yeah, there it is, the spike's down. Not understanding there's help though, as Raze has scooped it up. Now, where do they go from here? Floor, Mel from up in heaven, dropping him 6 feet under. Version 1 up 4 at half.
Switching sides.
I hate to say it. We saw it happen before, Doug, where, V1, they lost both pistols on Pearl and still won 13-5.
Yeah.
This is a game where I think Complexity needs to win both pistols, except that obviously can't happen to their gun rounds on this half. If they want any chance here, they need to go on a serious run right now.
Yeah, and I want to draw back to a conversation we had around Raze's Phoenix in particular, because when you're daring to run a Phoenix on Pearl, part of the win condition is you have to funnel orbs. You have to get orbs. You have to get ults online, as many as you can. 3, 4.5. I think we saw, 2 out of Raze that half. So you're really not finding the same ult value that you would be expecting out of running a Phoenix, and the frags aren't really coming through either. Maybe defense, you can get a little bit more of that going, but it doesn't even seem like a priority.
Doug, look, false info over by B. Forces Jazzy to aggress. They are hot on her heels. And they know the slide is out.
And Lace took so much damage there trying to help and buy some space for Jazzy to stay alive. And the thing is, they have a main control. Look where Sarah's playing right now. The rest of them are going to funnel out Art. The Mollies are going to delay for just a little bit. The Nano and the Hot Hands. But is that going to be enough? It is going to be enough to buy some time, at least for Complexity to rotate around as Jazzykins gets 4 to get Complexity the pistol.
Very well played by Jazzy, right? The Sky Flash, the Guiding Light gets false info outside of V-Link, and you saw the push coming in, but she has the 2 stuns. That slows down this Art hit, allows the Neon, who can run around the map super quick, to already be here by the time they get down those Art stairs. Crazy hold right there by Jazzy to keep Complexity in this game.
Alarm bot out.
Desperately needed round. Keep them in the series. See what they can do off of that. They have 2 Bulldogs. A little bit of a buy here.
Look at this play here. Alexis, a late knife coming over A main. Unbreakable. 2 players dodging the Sky Flash, now working up. Let's see, Raze, I believe saw one.
Yeah, and they also, the knife hit them. They've got to expect there's somebody around here. But once again, they just take the fight. They feel confident in their ability to navigate it regardless. You see Alexis playing in an anti-flash there, making sure they can swing out, and she did get the kill on the Raze.
Remaining.
I'm out of here.
But Alexis has a whole lot more to do with not the right tools to do it. Complexity get to 6.
Go, go, go.
Much needed clean round right there for Complexity. They're taking a lot of those weapons into this bonus. And I'm curious what the approach is going to be. Are they going to fight for that A main again? Alexis is lining up that unbreakable 0 point. It goes right in the middle, scans all of A main, but it's very late. Right?
Yeah.
It's not like you can run up with this 0 point. The duelist will certainly beat you. And you can see the threat of a grab will down right there for Mel in A main as well. But Sarah's not challenging this round. I don't think this is going to be an A main play.
They've gotten ahead of it, and they're going to get the orbs. Now we see that for Raze. Ult online early in this second half. A far cry from what we discussed in the first.
And the knife let them know both of the duelists in A main. So now they pivot over towards Link right now. You see Noya's moving down towards B. They're reacting off of the info. And it's a free sight, Doug.
Yeah, Complexity are just taking a step back. It seems like they want to fight retake. Given with the weapons that they have and the ult from Raze, you imagine they invested here. Wait, they're confused. They're lost. Bit delayed on how they want to approach this retake attempt.
Up in tower right now.
I don't know. Floor's gotten one. Sarah clears out the ult. You've got Jazzykins who's going to be hitting an insane flank, but Noise wise to the timing, expecting the pressure, expecting the presence from the duelist, and cleans it up. Beautifully handled. Floor flash, has to give up the high ground, has to take a step back, but it's just momentary. It's all just a delay as Floor repositions, re-peaks, and this looks like a certain round for version 1. 9-6 on the second half.
Closer and closer they get. It looks all too similar to the first time these teams met on Pearl right now.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Complexity is fearing that as well. This round can change things. Like this is the round that Complexity absolutely needs to convert. And would you look at this? They got the Neon Op in play, top screens on B long. And the Phoenix gonna challenge A main here. There is that grab will threat down. Much quicker knife coming in.
Yeah, there's the gravity well to make sure there's no aggression. I thought for a moment Complexity would have a fight at it because they had both flashers here to take it, but version 1 bully through.
The lack of info right now on Complexity is alarming. The Phoenix and Sky are super deep right now. They're dug out and way back right on Flowers. And not a lot of info here at A. The dog spots Mel, but again, that's false info. That's something V1 is willing to allow. Jazzy needs to avoid this drone. And that she does.
You mentioned at the beginning of the round, yep, she had the op and she's gone undetected so far. But can she use that to her advantage? The element of surprise still in hand. To pass. Trigger not fired yet, and off the flash. What a shot from Alexis! And now the ult online, they're gonna be able to funnel their way through. She has the spike. Kara's gone undetected though in the smoke. Finds another one, a flick! Can Noya bring him back? No! Raze with 3, Complexity get to 7.
That was an incredible hold for Kara. The 2 extra players on that B side, the rotate comes in so fast. Despite the fact that Jazzy just gets absolutely destroyed by Alexis and the null command is out.
Oof.
Crazy good hold from the Phoenix and the Astra right there on Complexity to keep them in the game. Floor has this Blade Storm. We've seen what she can do before. They're not in the clear yet, Doug.
They have to continue to convert on this, and they've invested a little bit more. Jazzy still with the op. Floor going aggressive with the blades. Getting up high. Anyone close? Yep, there's Raze. Raze is dead. She goes up high again and gets both!
That's so crazy. Her Blade Storm again finds 2 First Bloods.
Claudia looking to equalize. She's going to go for more. That from that distance? Lands a third, well handled by Jazzykins though. Landing a shot with the op and keeping that down. That's all it is though.
Spike planted.
Tell she's trying to reposition play around the drone, keep that op alive. Alexis is very close by. Ooh.
1-on-2. She has a wall,
You should
so
run.
she can put a lot of pressure on this defuse.
Whoa. Oh my gosh, she's going in aggressive. 2 ults used in the closing moments of the round. She's got to find one of them. The spam through 28 HP. Time is short. She's got to get out of there.
Oh,
and it's just not going to happen. I mean, milliseconds away. And the most tragic way to die. A thrifty round as version 1 get to 10.
You could see what she was going for right there. She thought she could put the pressure on those art players. I'm not sure if she knew both were there.
Down A.
But not even Neon Speed could get out of that lockdown that quick.
No, she was close. And I respect it. You had to make a play, right? Once she lands that op shot onto Alexis, you realize you got to risk it here a little bit and see if you can make something happen. And boy, did she get close.
Yeah, tough choices in the Cole camp right now. Look at the buy.
Yeah.
They buy down a little bit. They have a Bulldog and 1 Vandal in Lace.
They do have another ult for Raze.
And again, the 0 point detects both the duelists on a main. Look at the reaction coming out immediately. Link control comes out of E1. They're going down Link. But this time, it looks like Complexity is a little wiser. The rotate's coming to B already.
Yeah, but there's nothing here for Kara to play around. I mean, there was no flash, there was no nothing. She just had to hold in the smoke and hope she gets a fair fight. And version 1 will never give you one of those.
One enemy remaining. My ult's ready.
This just looks like it's wraps on the round again, unless Raze can pull off a 1v5 with the Sheriff. And did... Yeah, shorty from that distance. I think Sarah was looking for a 360 something and looked a little lost there. Styling on him a bit as version 1 or just a couple of rounds away from putting together another outrageous performance.
The last timeout comes in from Complexity. They're second of the game here. Down 11-7. They have a healthy bye here. Couple ults to work with, most likely. And this is it for them. This is their final stand, in my opinion. I think if this round slips through their fingers, the idea of a comeback with no economy, with V1's economy getting out of control, then building ults, double initiator ults at that, you know, the game becomes so difficult.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is a round where they really need these duels to step up. And so far, we've seen, you know, a lot of A main challenging from them. But again, just like in the first half, Alexis's 0 point gives all of the info that V1 needs to make the play. And it seems like the pace changes from V1 it's something that Complexity hasn't been able to solve across any of the maps so far.
Yeah. It's a difficult thing to try to figure out on the fly. And you're right, it just caused them fits.
Doug, they are just gonna run it down B right now. It feels
Placing
like.
alarm bot.
This
Swarm grenade.
is one of those calls out of a timeout where
Placing sentry.
you expect the other team to craft something new and crazy, and you're just gonna run it down. And they can never predict something like this.
I mean, look at it. You know they're not expecting it. It's just Claudia here by herself. Yeah, Jazzy gets us close, and obviously with the Neon, you can rotate very quickly, but if they full send here before the rotations arrive, it's going to be problematic.
Divided.
See the Cosmic Divide already through. Claudia's ahead of it, and they're going to Seekers their way past it. Floor's starting to clear some of that out. They've got the ult to flash out through the wall, and Floor dashes away, stays alive. Ray's going hunting, trying to pursue. And this looks like it's once again falling apart, but Complexity can have a shot at this. It's Sarah left in a 1v2, and she's flashed. She can't see a thing. Complexity handle it well.
So well. Raze came up so big on the rotate, using the run it back. Both of the flashes finding value. Flush Floor off of the top of screens, most importantly, and then closing it out with the frag onto Sarah. Huge impact coming out of the Phoenix that round.
Alarm bot out.
And once again, it felt like that was just enough of a play to keep them in the series. Right, you mentioned it. It felt like that was the must-win, right? Like you don't get another lease on life. You don't get another shot at this. You have to execute on that one. And somehow Complexity staying in this, staying competitive. Maybe why it was right.
Ooh.
Second flash.
Flash.
Wow.
That is crazy. The minor adjustment this deep into the game from V1. Floor asks for a second flash. The drone comes out, clears art, because they realize the rotate is going to be coming in at that point to Link.
And note that's a flash that you don't have to entry out onto site now. You don't have another Sky to play alongside. You have no other utility like that. And maybe that's just not going to matter. You see the cloud burst, you see the space being bought, and they're going to fight for main.
Yeah,
clear it out, make sure there's no one here.
I don't think they're aware of the quick art flank, though. This art flank is super fast.
The alarm bot from Noya should help, though, as it's keeping him back, and Sarah gets one with the Hunter's Fury.
No way, Doug. They're just going to fully reset right now. They're going to cut noise. In a 5-on-3, they recognize that art flank is hot on their heels. So they just completely cut noise.
30 seconds
walk
left.
back out A mid now.
Dude, they're playing him like a puppet. They're playing him like a puppet. Instantly, as soon as the noise is cut, you see the rotation start to go B. Now they have to scramble back, lost as to what's going on the site.
It's just so easy for Mel to read. I feel like it's like a picture book for her.
Yeah.
Just perfect reads time and time again throughout this entire finals.
Raze with no flashes here. It's going to have to be dry. And you just cannot handle Alexis in that position. You have Flora who's helping too. Effectively a high-low that you're just not winning. You're just not. So they've done well to get out onto the site, and they've gotten enough to at least tap and threaten the defuse. But that's all it is. It's an empty threat. And with that, version 1 find themselves on series point.
12-8. Complexity are going to need 4 straight rounds here. Lace and Claudia taking these 2 Phantoms into this round. I can't even describe how important that is. You know,
Yeah.
their teammates will not be able to buy, and hopefully they can drop a couple rifles around. It looks like they were able to drop, you know, a Guardian, a Bulldog, and Jazzy though. Jazzy left on a Stinger.
Yeah. What the heck do you buy?
And for the first time, if you look, a little bit of adjustment here. Both the duelists are in Link. But let's see how version 1 is going to react off of the 0 point that gets no info. You know, this is going to be very different. It's not, for the first time, the 0 point is going to get no info.
And I wonder here what Claudia does off of this. Note the deep alarm bot in A main. Note that she's 1 point away from having her lockdown online. But really no play for it. No concern quite yet.
I don't think they hit this site, Doug. I think Mel is way too smart to send them into this site.
Yeah, it seemed to me like all they wanted was the orb, and they got it. So now they're going to flip back into the teeth of the Killjoy utility.
They've had this turret up in mid the whole time. They're leaving Sarah over here. Make a bit of presence.
Presence works. There are 3 over there now.
Yeah, she's kept 3 players at this B site. And this orb is going to get the null command on Alexis. All the Killjoy utils down.
Not only, I mean, Lace flashed out on B on that smoke to try to create some space. Oh, that's big on Claudia. Now Claudia has her ult. But she can't use it because of the null command. I mean, as soon as that ult goes down, she's going to try, but the clip runs dry. Jazzykins with massive kills. And Sarah's going to show up rotating through in a 1v4.
Incredible hold by Claudia. Let's be real. That is absurd. The spam kill onto floor.
10 seconds left.
Holding the back side. The rotate's able to come in. They're in the back lines, though. Only able to get 1. And COL get their 9th round on the board. Keep this going.
On my way.
And we got to think about what's ahead of us, too. Jazzykins has ult online. Claudia still has her lockdown, which was acquired in the chaos of that previous round. I know on defense, you're able to put a couple of these ults together. You've got the Cosmic Divide from Kara, too. Hey, you can realistically see a window for them to take another round on defense here, Sean.
It's certainly possible. And you can see, again, they're going back to this base setup, right? The knife is going to come in again. Both these duelists are doubling up that Link. Anyone didn't get to see this last round. And I'm curious, again, what happens when this knife comes in and gets no info?
I'm also surprised to see Complexity move away from farming the orbs into Raze's pocket. Just 2 points away, and that's now 2 rounds where they don't do that. That flash from up high. I don't know that Floor's going to find enough space. Not with the curveball. Yeah, not with the stun. She tested the waters and decided she didn't want anything of what was on the other side of that.
But look at the info. Now causes Mel to work all the way up, and that's going to cause a swing.
Oh, and the swing may have been ill-advised. Fortunately, Claudia's there on the trade.
Turret down.
They have the turret that's now been cleared out, so they know they've lost art.
Claudia might
Remember,
call back and use a preventative lockdown right here to get some space.
No way, bro. They just poke and prod. They feel things out. They test the space, and they get a kill. Another one. And look at this. They're expecting Jazzykins on the flank.
Doug, they don't have smokes, though, for this entry. So, oh my. But they might not need them by the time.
No. No, it's all falling apart. Car is left alone. She's on the opposite side of the map. A 1v4 to keep the series alive. And I feel like I've said this a few times, but Complexity yet again find themselves in desperate need of a miracle. Time ticking away as the urgency grows. And you realize the possibilities, the window for it just continues to dwindle, gets smaller and smaller. Scar on the face, nothing found yet. The turret cleared, or at least attempted to. As you see all of that utility dump.
Blocking vision.
Complexity, what a run on the tournament, but it's just not enough. Doldrums for Complexity and dominance for version 1 as they take down and reign over the game changer scene back to back.
Back to back. Not only back to back, Doug, this team is 32-0 right now in maps, spanning out Game Changers 1 and 2. They've yet to drop a map. This is the most dominant team we've seen in North America. I don't know how Mel's done it. She's done it on Cloud9, and now made this version 1 team even better. They are the most dominant team we have in our scene.
Dude, to think about, imagine a run where a team goes 32-0 in maps. Right, like the only thing I can think of that was anywhere comparable to that was the very beginning of the Valorant days when Absolute Jupiter, that insane run, I think or Vision Strikers, ended up going 100-0. Right, or something along those lines. It got dangerous. It goes 32-0. Not a single map dropped across 2 tournaments, 2 championship rings. What more could you possibly ask for?
They want that world title, Doug. They want that world title. I don't think this matters to Mel right now. She has her eyes on the prize, and this team, the mechanical skill, her mid-rounding calling, her set plays that she's creating, I mean, you got to give them credit. They are a step ahead of everyone in this scene.
If their world wasn't on notice before, surely they are now. Version 1, wipe the floor with the competition and walk away with the chip. We're going to throw it down to the desk to break down that series, and I imagine we're going to be hearing a lot about how V1 are very good at the game.
Thank you very much, Doug. Honestly, that is a perfect way to summarize not just Series 2, Mimi and Wyatt, but also Series 1, but also 2022, but also 2021. I feel like the story of Mel and Alexis, and as well as this super team that Mel has put together over the last year plus, it's just utter domination. And credit goes where I need to give it. Complexity did make it much more competitive on Pearl, but too little too late, Mimi.
Yeah, it was too little. V1 is incredible. Like Sean was mentioning, 32-0 since this team was formed in the Game Changers scene, doing well in co-ed as well. This squad, there's never been a team like them. I think in any scene that we have here in Valorant, it is the safest thing to say that they are far and away better than anyone else. Complexity was good this tournament. DSG was stepping things up. Shopify Rebellion is still always a squad to be contended with, but none of them were even close to what V1 could pull off. And in this final as well, you really showcased it, especially on this last map, because COL had moments where they had the right call, where they were building some rounds, and then, okay, V1's on an eco round, and Fluorescent is just going to kill 3 people with a Blade Storm. Sarah's just going to clutch a late round. There's always something that brings them back any moment it looks like their opponent has even an inch wide.
The idea when this team was formed was to put together that experienced duo, Mel, the best IGL in the Game Changers scene, Alexis, the best supportive player in the NA Game Changers scene, and surround those two with talent that was rising to the top in Floor, Sarah, and Noya. And it's just worked perfectly. All the pieces of the puzzle have fit together. How those two are able to set up these talented riflers, their star duelist Floor, is absolutely picture perfect. And those 3 who have to frag always deliver. They never miss a step. Everything about this team and the idea behind it has culminated into greatness.
It's incredible what this team has pulled off and what they continue to show. For Complexity, though, I mean, they went on an incredible run here, right? They finally break through their barrier, they make it to their first grand finals, and that's huge, but it's nothing compared to version 1, and compared to, as you can see in the stats on the top right there, clearly the best player in the North American Game Changers scene. Floor has another tournament where she is the #1 player in pretty much every single stat, where every game they play, she looks unstoppable. There is still yet to be another team in Game Changers who can shut this player down, and I don't think we will ever see a slow map from Fluorescent. It just feels impossible that she won't perform at this level.
Indeed, I
it
have
just
to-
never happens.
Yeah, it never happens, indeed, and we'll see if it happens in Series 3. But I appreciate that you called out the improvements that we've seen from the side of Complexity, Nini, because once again, as a reminder, Jazzy only joined 6 months ago. This was the first season that she came in as in-game leader. To reach the grand finals in the first season in which you take on such a pivotal role for the team, it's a tremendous accomplishment, and it bodes well as we look forward to Series 3 in just a couple of months, Wyatt.
Yeah, absolutely. Jazzy was able to, in this new role as the leader of Complexity, calling from the duelist, to outcall every single other team, Shopify included. The one person she couldn't was the master that she learned from, Mel. She's not there quite yet, but still such a respectable effort throughout. And we talked about the head-to-head matchup of the two players that looked like the best two players of this stage. Floor, obviously, but Lace from the opposite side. And still, an immense amount of credit has to be given to her for what she's done over the years with Complexity, which is go from a good player to an excellent player in the highest echelon of the Game Changers scene here in North America. So still so much credit there. And as well to the other players of Complexity who displayed their talent within their own right, which they all did at various times. We saw excellent anchoring from Claudia, Raze on that offense, on the Phoenix, just ever a presence when they're hitting sites. And Kara's just super crisp aim. The taps from her are excellent. So really, all around for COL, nothing but respect for what they've been able to achieve here and finally breaking through with a new team into that top 2.
Indeed, it makes the future very, very exciting, especially with the likes of, as you mentioned earlier, Mimi, DSG also coming to the top of the scene. For now, though, we are going to head to a short break and throw to the Prime Gaming post-match highlights to wrap up and take a look at the utter domination that was version 1 throughout this entire season. When we get back from the break, we'll break it down with the Verizon post-match interview with Mel, so stay tuned.
Down B. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. 10 seconds left.
Welcome back one final time to the Verizon Game Changers Series 2 North American 2023, as we just wrapped up the grand finals and have crowned version 1 as the victors. And we have Mel ready for the Verizon post-match interview, so let's go ahead and bring her on. Oh my goodness, Mel, I feel like this is really the conversation that it always comes back to. It's almost like deja vu. The only thing that changes is the number. This is now your seventh Game Changers title, back to back to back, to back to back to back. And, we've used every adjective to describe it: impressive, outstanding, remarkable, but we truly cannot overstate how impressive of an accomplishment that really is. What does this mean for you to not only be able to win with your team, that's amazing, but continue that legacy and continue this sort of dynasty that you've been a part of?
It feels good, absolutely, to continue the dynasty, at least for the core. But it means a lot to me to get my teammates who haven't had, 10, 7 wins or whatever the number is at this point, and get them their game changers and keep the wins going for them. Especially as we try to get into Brazil, we really want to get as many as deep runs as we can, so we can make that qualification process a lot easier. You know what I mean? So definitely, it's like a relief more than anything to win these.
I mean, the way that you win as well, it always looks so dominant. The team, series by series, always just looks so impressive. It's not just the sheer fragging prowess that we see from you and your teammates. It's also the obvious ways in which you're always pushing and evolving with a different variety and strategies and your read on the game as well. That's a very difficult thing to do. And I think, especially from a casual viewer's perspective, a lot of times we miss out on the amount of work ethic it takes to continue to just be at the top of being able to read and play the game at that sort of level. So can you share some of the challenges you might have gone through, even if from our POV it looks easy? I'm sure it's not.
100%. I mean, even this event, we had a talk after we beat Disguise, and in a way, obviously, we did win the event, or not the event, we won that best of 3, but we wanted to win it more on our terms. We kind of won that more of like hero plays, and we don't like to win like that. We like to win how we do in scrims, which is together, like outplaying them on every level, like a checkmate, where it feels like they have nothing else they can do. So winning it like that today, it really felt like all of our hard work kind of paid off, because I'm really proud of my team that we could come together and win it as a team and not just off of like crazy hero plays, which is nice to have, that assurance that we have the firepower to do that. But ultimately our main goal is co-ed, and we do play at a LAN next week in Philly. So we want to be most prepared for that, because we're not always going to be able to shoot our ways out of situations. So it feels great. And Effie's has been an amazing coach in that regard. He has been really hard on us. And that's something I feel like that has done really wonders for this team, and being able to like assess ourselves and critically analyze each other and stuff like that. So no egos in the team. I appreciate the hard work my team puts in. So hopefully we can keep doing this going forward.
Absolutely. I'm glad that you mentioned Effie's, because I feel like that must have been a constantly evolving process from your end as well, starting from the beginning of this sort of dynasty with Cloud9 White all the way to today. The support system that you've had around you has continued to change to what it is now with Effie's pushing y'all. What does that practice look like today? And what is that flow between you and Effie's, where, how much of it is you ideating on strategy and doing a lot of work on your end? How much is it him? What kind of a balance do you guys have?
Yeah, our relationship is very collaborative, especially including the team as well. He brings a lot of pistols and stuff like that, but more importantly, I think he understands the game at a really high level, where he can point out fundamental mistakes. Early on, like in 8-7 months ago, we were really struggling with that and bringing in that discipline and that structure that we needed, especially to rein in someone as insane as Floor, right? She gets her 2, back it up, queen, you want us around, you know what I mean? And then how we can play around her to set her up and close out those rounds and stuff like that. But mostly it's been like a lot of VOD review and like watching funny things back and be like, okay, this is dumb, we probably shouldn't do this. And like it's definitely collaborative, because you can have a great coach, but you also need coachable players. And I feel like everyone on the team is very coachable, very open to criticism and improving. And I think that's like the biggest aspect for why I think we're on the top, is we're willing to put in the hard work and set our egos aside.
No, that's amazing to hear, the sheer amount of continual practice it takes to retain that top spot you've had for so long. I'm glad that you mentioned DSG earlier, because throughout the many seasons now that we've been able to speak with you as you've won title after title, we've seen the competition sort of trying to threaten you for that top spot change over time. This time around, the top four looked a little bit different as we saw DSG make the top four alongside Complexity, where Complexity is led by a former teammate of yours, Jazzykins, who's now in-game leading for the first time. So how has it been to spectate and watch the evolution of the competition, and how did you feel it was this time around?
This time around, it definitely took us off guard to have this much like skill parity. I mean, there was like 4 upsets the first day. We weren't expecting it. In all honesty, we were prepping for XSET to be in the upper finals, but Game Changers can always surprise you. Something crazy can happen, and we had completely different opponents that we were expecting. And it's a good sign for the scene, for everyone to kind of be battling it out. I think there will be more consistency in the next one. I think that we're going to see teams like DSG really rise to more consistently in the top 4. And obviously my girl Jazzykins, my little sis, shout out Jazzy. I knew it'd be me and you in the finals. Let's go, baby. I love her so much. I hope to see them back in finals and top 3. I think it's great for the scene, honestly, and it adds a lot to what we can accomplish as an entire like ecosystem outside of Game Changers. The more teams that are like this competitive with each other, and the more teams that play in co-ed, means we have a better chance of hopefully integrating in the main scene, VCT one day.
Absolutely, it's one of the coolest things to watch year over year is just the iteration of this, of the young blood, and seeing how they evolve and just get better and better over time. Last question before I let you go celebrate with your teammates. Do you have anything to share or say as far as any gratitude, people you want to thank, as well as to the fans?
Shout out to all the fans watching, anyone watching Game Changers, not just us, but the scene in general. There's plenty awesome players in the scene, very talented, and I'm just super grateful that people watch and take care of the scene the way they do. Obviously, shout out to our fans, shout out to our family have been supporting us, our friends, our significant others. Shout out to my team as well. They've worked really hard for this, and to make it look easy is a lot of hard work behind the scenes that go into it. So I'm glad that we're able to put in that work. But thanks again, everyone, for supporting us, and we hope to make it to Brazil in the 3rd Game Changers.
Thank you so much, Mel, for taking the time, and congratulations once again. 7 straight Game Changers titles for you and Alexis, and your team is just absolutely inspirational. We'll wish you the best of luck in that next event you just mentioned.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Now, after that, it's time to bring on Mimi and Wyatt one last time to wrap up this final day for Series 2. It's really humbling, Mimi, to hear, after you win so many titles in a row, it can be easy as a human being to get a little bit gassed up and to feel like, we're freaking dominating. But series after series, it feels like Mel just sets the tone with Alexis, with Effie's, and in terms of the leadership for the team, that the grind never stops. The practice must go on, and the need to continue to improve is always there, which is truly inspirational to see.
Don't believe all that. It's already gone to her head. She's spreading lies. She's only saying that because she has Fluorescent on her team at this point. No, but jokes aside, Mel really is just the go to this scene for a reason. She's won every single tournament, has continued to kind of live by her mantra of focusing on co-ed, not just trying to be the best Game Changers player, IGL and team, but also pushing to do more and more across the scene. Truly a fantastic player and a fantastic team. It's improbable to win 7 tournaments in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what do I say at this point. Hey guys, they're good. They're good. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's it. That's all I've got. That's all I've got left.
Honestly, if people could have heard our reactions as we were watching the game, that really was what you and Mimi just kept saying was, hey, they look really good.
They're pretty good at this game.
Flora is pretty good at this game. Sarah's really good at this game. But speaking of players that are very good at the game, we have the Aim Lab Flick of the Day ready for y'all, and it's a player that has also played such an important role for the structure and success of version 1, and that is Noya, Mimi.
This is so clean. Noya, I feel like in particular, is excellent on these pistol rounds. Like just yesterday, or day before that maybe, I think the Flick of the Day was also a Noya 3K flicking around. She's incredible in all those moments. And well, Floor definitely always takes the spotlight on this team, or Mel being the CEO of women who's won all 7 tournaments. But Noya is a very underrated and excellent element of this version 1 squad.
Absolutely. And now that we know that version 1 won Series 2, let's take a few steps back and take a look at the entire event as we saw it, because there's a lot of storylines that rose up as a result of this. Yes, it was version 1 winning their 7th Game Changers in a row between Mel and Alexis, but we are seeing, as Mel pointed out herself, so much improvement and evolution from all of these other players as well, with the likes of DSG breaching the top 4 for the first time, as well as Complexity Wyatt.
Yeah, I think the next stage of Game Changers, stage 3, is going to be so exciting. There's so many new storylines to follow. I think this is really the first time in a while where it's felt like there's a lot of new developments and we don't know where things are going to go next. COL, obviously, new team to the finals, Lace being an insane player for that squad. And then you have DSG. They played for 2 weeks and made it to the lower bracket final. So the obvious storyline is, what are they going to do with, what, like 2 months or what? Something like that, right? They're going to actually have more time. How much better can they get? Because that team had such a natural chemistry that we watched in the playoffs. So you can only be more excited to see what they can actually offer up in their next effort. And then Shopify, who were always a grand final mainstay, for the first time falling into the lower bracket and getting knocked out of it. That has never happened to them before. Where do they go from here? It's going to be insane to see how this goes forward. I didn't even mention Exit. They went out in 2. That's crazy. Katsumi and Bob out in the lower bracket round 1. That never happens. So there's going to be so much to look forward to. There's so many interesting storylines moving forward, and it's a really exciting time overall for this scene.
Yeah, it is going to be really exciting. And GC3 is the one that's going to really matter as well, because that's where we're starting to get teams qualified to GC champions. That's where the whole year is going to wrap up. For Mel and Alexis, I'm sure that they want revenge for what happened to them at GC champions, getting knocked out early. Shopify Rebellion is going to want back-to-back chances, got 2nd place in that tournament before. And for those other teams, COL, Exet, DSG on the come-up, trying to have a chance to claim one of those spots would be massive for any of those squads. But right now, looking at the circuit points, it is of course still V1 and Shopify in control. But with their run this tournament, Complexity is getting close to Shopify Rebellion.
Indeed, GC3, Series 3 rather, will be so important, because as a reminder for all of you watching from home, it'll be the winner of Series 3 that of course makes the champs, but also after that it'll be done by points. So Shopify Rebellion, if they have a similar sort of performance that they had on Series 2, they're definitely at the cusp of being threatened by the likes of Complexity, Exit, and even if we see deep runs from the side of DSG, we never know what that second spot is going to pan out for GC champs. So a lot to look forward to, but for now, Mimi and Wyatt, it's finally time to close the show. Wyatt, it's been a pleasure. Are you ready to go fight your ants again?
Yeah, hopefully. I haven't checked out the bathroom in the past 3 hours. Hopefully they haven't reinvaded. I'm really excited to go check that one out. Can't wait.
My takeaway is that it's crazy that this best out of 5 was done in 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah,
that's
that
insane.
is
I mean,
nuts.
V1 is just ridiculously good, and I can't wait for GC3. So many teams breaking expectations this tournament. V1 is clearly going to be favorited to win it again, but that second spot is more open for the taking than I think it's ever been before in Game Changers.
Absolutely. If there's one takeaway you have from Series 2, it's that version 1, very, very, very good. But the competition for that second slot is up in the air, so we'll look forward to it in Series 3. But for now, thank you so much to everyone who tuned in. We hope you had an amazing show, and we'll see you guys in just a couple of months for Series 3, so see you then.
Red Bull gives you wings.